The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in the cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to REP Paranormal and Friends with your hosts,
Kim Purvis
and Alison Robinson. Make sure to check us out on our Facebook pages, REP Paranormal and Friends and REP Paranormal Busters, for up-to-date show information and events. Hey everyone, welcome to REP Paranormal and Friends. I have a special guest for you today. Alison Grey will be joining us, but first let me give you kind of an intro into Alison and what we're going to be discussing today. Alison is a mother of 4 boys who has written meditations as inspiration and through experience. She has over 20 years of teaching behind her, 10 of those in speech and language base, where children suffer from more than just, speech issues, but from ADHD, anxiety, ASD, abuse, neglect, and anything else probably under the sun. Besides that, she is a Reiki master and is also qualified to practice with crystal healing. She has currently set up her own business called Calmer Kids, where she works with children and their families to help support children's meditations, visualizations, and focused work on healing and affirmations. So welcome, Alison, to the show. You got a lot of things going on for you here. Plus you have your book Mindful Medium, so to name a few things.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Oh yes, absolutely. Now let's kind of get into this. You have your book out called Mindful Medium. How did you know that you had these abilities? Like when did you learn this?
Well, when I was, I think when I was growing up, really, I realised that I was slightly different from a lot of other children. I always had a lot of experiences going on around me. Mm-hmm. I had the feeling of somebody in my bedroom. I had feelings of people sitting on my bed. I had all the different sounds, all those sort of like what most people have, like spooky experiences. Mm-hmm. And they scared me. A lot of the time at night time, I used to go up to my mum and dad saying, "There's somebody in my room," and it was like, "No, go back down, go back to sleep." Mm-hmm. So I had this sort of growing up, not realising anything really. I didn't really know where it was coming from, because I don't think you sort of like realise as a young age you're psychic. You just realise that there's weird things going on around you.
Right.
Yeah, and you just kind of take it as kind of normal, I suppose. But then, and also I was very empathetic as well. I used to feel people's energies. I always knew whether I liked somebody or didn't like somebody. Mm-hmm. Or I always knew there was wrong with someone. So I guess I was quite empathetic and clairsentient at that time, but without realising it. But it wasn't until my grandfather passed when I was about 10. Unexpectedly, we were a very, very close family.
Right.
And his passing sparked those thoughts. I mean, I was always a bit of a deep child as well, but sparked those thoughts, where's he gone? What happens after we die? And I was quite really at that time. And then he came to me in one of my dreams, which was a bit weird because I knew that I was asleep. I knew I was dreaming. I knew my grandfather was there and he was talking to me. And at one particular point, he kind of sat through me and I realised that probably wasn't normal either. And I kind of said, what's going on? And he was like, well, I'm always going to be here with you. We are together. We've got this connection. And that sparked a couple of years of like recurring dreams where I was constantly going back to my grandfather, constantly seeing my grandfather. And it also sparked that curiosity in me that there's got to be something else out there. So I kind of left the books of Enid Blyton and fairies and witches, which I used to read up to about the age of 10, and then started delving into crystals, astrology, runes, anything that I could, as a teenager, you kind of you shift your interest, don't you?
Yes, you do.
And my own sort of tarot card. Well, I actually bought tarot cards for my mum, and then she sort of gifted them back to me, and just kind of explored through that again, dabbling. Didn't really know what I was doing, but I was just, interested and curious. And then my other grandfather died when I was 18, and the kind of like within the night that he died, and again I wasn't expecting him to pass either. Were called, me, my sister, my two cousins were called to a confession box. Now we're not even Catholic, I was Christian, but loosely Christian. And when we queued up to go in, my grandfather was sitting on the other side and was just like, I've got to say goodbye. So I had all these things going on as I was growing up, but it wasn't really until my 20s that I realised there was such things as clairvoyance and mediums, because nobody in my family really talked about it. It was just something I had to figure out for myself. And then, of course, the doors were open. Yes. And all just came flooding in. And then that's when I realised that, I do possess some of these psychic skills, or, and I started, again, I was teaching then. So I was, I had a professional job during the day and at night time and in my own time, reading up, going to any places that would teach me, what was going on, really. But I had loads of experiences, just so many experiences from, just as you probably know, all the weird things like the music, the picture moving, I could hear footsteps coming down the stairs and nobody there, feeling people behind me, nobody there. So I had all of that going on, really, as I was growing up.
So do you think all your experiences that you had and with your grandfather's passing, that kind of helped you pursue this mediumship?
I think so, yes. I mean, when I had my second child, I was getting them all the time. I was getting the images, the flashes, and I kind of said to myself, I need to find somebody who can tell me really what's going on. So there was like a magazine, a popular magazine over in the UK called Spirit and Destiny. And I was just reading that, and I happened to notice an article from another medium who was not too far away from me. So I went to see her. She obviously confirmed what I had already felt. And then, why don't you join the circle? So I joined the circle, which was really scary. Took me outside my comfort zone because I didn't really know. I was, professional, down to work.
We all know that feeling. You finally managed to get away on vacation and the worrying starts. Will that bogus "beware of dogs" sign keep your home safe? What about that fake camera you set up? And will someone finally find your old hide and key rock? That's where ADT comes in. All that stuff, it's safe-ish. It seems fine when you don't really think about it, but it truly doesn't work. Instead, ADT provides security solutions that keep you actually safe, giving you real peace of mind. Because vacation is supposed to be, relaxing. Don't settle for safe-ish. Visit ADT.com today to learn more.
Normal person, didn't have any of these weird things in my life from other people in my kind of family. But it all made total sense to me, all made complete sense to me. And then I started off on my healing because I thought that was an easier route in, just to understand the healing energy, learning about guides and angels and crystals. And I took that kind of route in. And then it was like, it just caught me. And I just thought, I'm just going to have to pursue this. So I braved up and joined a circle, a development circle. And then just, and I did that with my aunt, actually. She came with me. And, and we met some really lovely people. And that's how the journey began. And here I am the teacher myself these days, teaching spiritual groups.
Very cool, very cool. Now, besides the mediumship, though, you also are a Reiki master. Do you use this then with those children? Like, what do you to help them? Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, so when I was in my primary school, I had a lovely headmaster who was very, very open, and I ran the speech and language base, and we worked very closely together. So I was a little bit separate from the school, and he just trusted me. He didn't really know what I was doing, even though he was the headmaster. He just went, Alison, that's your bag, you do that, I trust you. Mm-hmm. And I went to him one day and I said, look, would you mind if I set up a meditation group for these children? Would you mind if I did healing? I don't do hands-on healing, so my hands, and I was showing him, I said my hands will always be here, and he said, look, Alison, if you get permission from the parents, go ahead and do it. So I started that, and then I decided that actually that was where I was growing, that's where I was moving towards, and it wasn't always just about teaching these children how to learn. It was more about their well-being, their understanding, getting them to connect in with who they are, and that for me was more of a passion, to get them to know who they were, what they were doing, and the world around them, rather than what books were they writing and how many sums they got right.
Right.
So kind of it was more about the mental health and mental well-being of the children, and that's when I put together really all my experiences from teaching special needs, my healing meditation, and poured it all into one for my karma kids. So and now I do Reiki for adults and children. If I'm working with the children, if I'm working in the families, the parents are like, do you do this for adults? So then I started an adult meditation group. So very cool. It's just kind of connected.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Now, besides, you've been doing the Reiki and you do the mediumship, but what is the crystal healing? Like, can you explain that to our listeners? Like, what does that involve?
Okay, so crystals for me, when I was a teenager, I just used to collect them. I loved them. They were they're like sweets in a sweet shop for me. But I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do with them. And then later on, I realised that you can incorporate them within the healing. So for me, crystals are, I call them gems or gifts from the earth. They have that earth energy, and they're all different colours and different energies, and they come from different places, so they resonate with different types of energy. And I work a lot on colour as well, so with the chakras. I often, in all of my Reiki, I do Rahani as well. Whatever I do, sometimes it's just crystal, but whatever I do, there's always crystals involved. And I just ask the people to come in and see which crystals resonate with them. That tells me a lot about what's going on with them in their bodies and in their energy. And then I just sort of place them on the body how I feel fit, where I feel that they're drawn to, and then I do the Reiki or whatever healing I'm doing as well. So it always the crystals are combined with the other healing that I do, and it just works beautifully. I just feel even people like my dad was never really into this, and he understood it because it was me, and he trusted me. And I used to do a bit of Reiki, and he was like, yeah, I can feel the heat, I can feel a few tingles, but what about these crystals? So what I used to do is I used to get him to use the crystals. He'd have the crystals. I'd put the Reiki into the crystals and give them to him. And he just used to, like, every time he see me, he'd say, I think they need more charge. And this is my dad that never really understood it, but he loved his crystals. And my mum said he kept them in his pocket every day, all by his skin and in his energy. So they have a beautiful, gentle, but powerful energy, which I think everybody resonates with everybody. I have not met one person that hasn't enjoyed using crystals or holding crystals.
Right, yeah. When I was younger, I used to collect them too. We'd go to different places and I'd see them and I'd just be like, oh, I need these. Like, so I have bags of them, and and I didn't know anything about what they were or anything until I'd gotten older. I had that passion too. Everywhere we went on different vacations, and if I saw them, I was getting them. So
I packed my children with them as well, like when they go off to places. I was like, have these crystals, you need them, or these are in your room, these are going to help you sleep, they're under your bed.
Maybe I need to do that with my kids too. Now, so you say that you pack your crystals with like Reiki and things, but how do you put energy in them? Like, what is the procedure for that? Like the steps?
I'm holding my crystal here. Mm-hmm. It's an amethyst point. Mm-hmm. So what I would do is I open up to the energy of Reiki, and I draw through the symbols of Reiki, mm-hmm. and I charge up, and I bring my guides and my angels that are connected to healing. So when I feel like I'm opened up and I've done, I put them in my hand. I put it in my left hand because that one is your sort of receptor. So if you're right-handed, mm-hmm. put them in your left. If you're left, did put it in your right, so it's your non-dominant hand, mm-hmm. and you kind of make a circuit, and you bring through the energy and you send it all the way around. You charge it mm-hmm. through the crystal, and mm-hmm. then send it round, and then you just kind of in your mind. It's all about. It doesn't matter what words you say. People mm-hmm. get very caught up about exactly what words do you have to say, but it's the intention. Mm-hmm. So the intention is you're infusing this crystal along with all its other gifts mm-hmm. and all its other healing. With the Reiki energy, mm-hmm. and then that will be there. But obviously, like all crystals, they become saturated in energy. So, you have to cleanse your crystals mm-hmm. Regularly. And you can do that through water, providing that they are not soluble ones. Mm-hmm. You can do them with sound. You can put them on a selenite disc. You can put them under the moonlight or the sunlight, but mm-hmm. as long as you don't leave them out in sunlight, because they can bleach them, they can make them change colour. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. So just charge them regularly, and then just keep putting the Reiki energy into it, and then you've got, for me, it's like a double whammy. You've got mm-hmm. the Reiki and you've got the crystal energy.
Very cool, very cool.
Yeah,
I will have to try that with some of mine, maybe. I take them on our investigations with us, because they're always like, Alison, take your crystals with you. Like, you need to have them with me, because I always get some kind of energy that's not always that great. And so they're always like, well, you need to take that with you. Keep yourself grounded with your crystals.
Which ones do you take?
I actually have, oh my gosh. I'm drawing a blank of the name of it.
Are they tourmaline or obsidian?
It's tourmaline. That's what I take. Yep. I for some reason, it was right there on the tip of my tongue. I could see it, but I couldn't remember the name of it. Yes, it's tourmaline. That's the one I take with me the most. Yep.
Absorbs negative energy, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And plus that protection around you. Hematite's nice as well.
Yes, I have hematite too. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I usually take the tourmaline. But yes, I do have the hematite also. Now, going back, because I get off on little tangents every now and then, but you have other healing aspects that you do too, and I'm not familiar with this one. What is that?
We all know that feeling. You finally managed to get away on vacation and the worrying starts. Will that bogus "beware of dogs" sign keep your home safe? What about that fake camera you set up? And will someone finally find your old hide and key rock? That's where ADT comes in. All that stuff, it's safe-ish. It seems fine when you don't really think about it, but you know it truly doesn't work. Instead, ADT provides security solutions that keep you actually safe, giving you real peace of mind. Because vacation is supposed to be, relaxing. Don't settle for safe-ish. Visit ADT.com today to learn more.
Atlantean healing. What is that?
Atlantean healing is basically connecting into the energy around Atlantis. Ooh. So the understanding, of the Moria and Atlantis, and you draw through the unicorns and things. So you've got a lot of unicorn energy with the Atlantis, and a lot of the angels, angelic, and you kind of like you can beam your energy, and you can scan the energy. So that's really powerful. To be honest, I use that less. Mm-hmm. Use Rahani. I use Reiki and Rahani and Crystal as my main ones now. Okay. But for me, I was learning a lot of because I couldn't get enough of the energy of, the healing energy. And I looked into Reiki drumming, and I've got like the angelic Reiki, and I was looking to do the angelic Reiki, mm-hmm. And I know everybody has different thoughts and different opinions, but mm-hmm. my guy said, Alison, it's enough. Healing is healing. Mm-hmm. It's to do with the intent. So now when I do my Reiki or do my Rahani or whatever I do, or my crystals, mm-hmm. I bring in the angels with me. So, it's, for me, healing is the highest good, mm-hmm. under grace for, whatever it is that you need. Mm-hmm. And for me, as long as that healing is pure, the intention's pure, then you're getting the healing your body or your energy, your kind of mind, body, soul, spiritual side, will need. And I just trust that my guides will bring the right healing to the right people.
Right. And so you talk about your guides. Now, do you believe that everybody has guides or a guide?
Yes. So angels are born with us, so they, we have a guardian angel that's with us all the time, and I believe that that you can have one or two angels. You can call on angels for all different reasons. So for me, the word guide encompasses angels as well, because it's anybody that is helping us. So we've got the angelic world that will help us, and we can tap into the archangels as well with that energy. So you've got different types of angels, but for me, guides, I feel that you have. My guide has been with me. I think that was the one that was in my room with me as a child. I've got that guide that's been with me for a long time. But my understanding now with guides is that they can come and go depending on what you're learning, where you need to be. So I've got teaching guides with me that would have worked with children. I mean, I still do that, so they'll still be here. But I'm also like a spiritual teacher, so I'll have a guide that comes in and helps me with my spiritual teaching. I've got my healing guides. So I feel that you have for different reasons helping you, but then guides can also be your loved ones as well, and then call on ascended masters they've all got different energies, and they can all help us in different ways. So I laugh with my students and say, I'm a bit greedy, really. I like to have as many as I can.
Right. Now, do you have any animal guides?
Yes, yes. I have got a beautiful wolf, and it was a lovely experience. I've got a couple actually. I've got, but my wolf one was lovely because I met it in meditation, and I could see the eyes, and then I could see the face, and I was like, okay, so I now know that because I'm quite a practical person, I need to have confirmation. So I'm like, I need to see it at least 3 times, and then I know that you're absolutely right. So I went into school the next day, and one of the children had a book which was Red Riding Hood, and the wolf, and I was like, okay, so that was like wolf one. And then it was like we went into the library and somebody else pulled the book Peter and the Wolf, and I was like, okay, so that's 2. And that evening I'd gone home, and my husband and I were sitting there watching the TV. It was just like a nature program, and it was, I don't even know where it was, whether it was Alaska or somewhere like that, but it was all snowing, and then this grey wolf came through, and I was like, okay, all right, so I've now got a wolf.
Very cool.
So, and yeah, and the sound, I've also got a black jaguar as well, or a puma. I think that I the ones, but that was beautiful. Yeah,
wow.
The silky, So,
very cool.
So it's a 3D, and I have a couple of different types of. Yeah,
that's very cool. Now, how does somebody know if they have a guide? Do they get like little hints, or like subtle things like you were talking about, like you kept seeing?
Yeah, so that for me is always confirmation. So I'd always say to everybody, ask and be shown. So when I asked about my angel, what her name was, she gave me Moonstone, and then the next day somebody had noticed something and said something about Moonstone. So I'm always looking for those really subtle things that people miss. People miss those. For me, it will be, if you sit and you suddenly have this spark of inspiration, or you have this idea, it's usually your guides talking to you or communicating with you. If something pops up underneath your nose, like on Google or on a newspaper, or somebody will start saying to you, oh, we need to do this, they orchestrate and weave the pathway ahead for us, so that they are sort of like knocking, if you like, onto the right path by showing us signs and things of where we should go. Signs are a big thing for me. I'm always asking and looking out. Yeah, but the guides will be with us whether we are openly spiritual or not. So, the person sitting next to you on the train has also got guides, whether they are aware of them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Open and curious, and get to know them, and they become like your best friends. But everybody has guardian angels. Everybody has guides, because we've all got a purpose. We're all here to learn and grow and evolve. So we're all going to be guided by somebody.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I have been told that I have one. Her name, I believe, is Diana, and then also from a past life, like I was told that I was a doctor in Pennsylvania, and my wife is still with me from like the 1940s, but I cannot remember her name. But apparently she's still with me. So that's kind of interesting to hear. I mean, I have not been able to connect with them, hearsay, that I'm aware of.
No.
I haven't really tapped into that part. Like, I do channels sometimes, and that's something that I need to hone in on, because I get a little too carried away with that, and I don't know how to shut it off, you know? But I have been told that I have those, but I was just curious on, you know, how do I come about, just, you know, but I should probably be looking for signs and maybe just ask. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So I think, you know, people often say to me, you know, who's my guide, who are my angels, but my thoughts are, and my feelings are, it's not for me to tell you. So I could link in and tell you, but then you might just believe me, and I might be wrong. So I always take my students through guided meditations, and I take them down into like a meditative state. We go on a journey. So with the animal guides, we go to the top of a hill, and then we just kind of fly and see what happens, and, you know, all different things. But for me, it's up to you to experience it. So even if I pick it up around you, I'll say, right, sit in meditation, or ask them to come. And sometimes they're the ones that resonate with you. So, you know, if you love the Native Americans or something, you know, you might find that you have got a Native American Indian, or, you know, if you take, I mean, wolves are lovely, but you know, cats are my favourite, you know, so, but anything you resonate with, you've probably got an affinity with. Just like past lives, you know, if you've got a fascination about a period of time, it's more than likely you've spent time
in that period
as in that period. Yeah, so it will all be there. All your information's within you. It's just, I think meditation is a great way of coming, and then if you're not trusting that, ask for them to prove it to you.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try that. I got to get my mind calm enough to do that. It's hard for me to sit down and focus to meditate. I've been trying, but it's very hard for me to do. Now, with your book, Mindful Medium, what do you hope that your readers get from reading your book?
So my book's written in 3 parts, really. So the first part, I wanted to tell everybody that this was me. You know, I'm a normal person, I'm an ordinary person. This was my journey. These were my experiences. So anybody that are having similar things, like me, who didn't know what was going on or what was happening, because I wasn't born into like if you like, a spiritual family, you know, religious family, but not spiritual family. So the first part is really to help other people to, you know, understand that they're not going crazy, they're not weird, and that, you know, these experiences could be happening to you. So it's just like bringing that awareness. The second part was like, you know, I've spent time with different teachers, different mentors, learning about different things in different directions. So I learned about crystals and astrology and mediumship, for me it was just like bringing all my learning, all my teaching together in a really easy, practical, step-by-step guide that use the vocabulary that confuses everyone, you know. As a teacher, I'm used to kind of like teaching in a way that people would kind of get and understand,
right?
Because there's lots of language in this field.
Yes.
And get confusing. And then the third part is literally just, you know, all the mindfulness, and so helping you to meditate, helping you to relax, calm, and do the guided meditations and the breathing work and the grounding and the protecting. So for me, my book was kind of like my journey and everything I've learned along the way, and kind of offering it out to everybody else so that they can dip into the bits that they are interested in.
Yes. Now, do you go to any like events or expos or fairs or anything like that to promote your book or your healings? Yeah,
so I've been doing a few shows, which has been lovely to meet people like you and talk about this topic. And I do a lot of like wellness places of asking me to do my meditations and my healing. So I've been doing that, and I demonstrate my mediumship, so standing on platform, doing it that way. So yeah, there's a couple of, but a lot of my work I do is one-to-ones, or I teach small groups as well, development circles.
Very nice, very nice. Now, do you have social media or a website, so if any of our listeners have any questions, they can reach out to you?
Yeah, I do. So on Facebook, I'm under it, Spiritual Insights. Okay. So I think you go through Alison Grey, but it's Spiritual Insights. And then obviously the Mindful, I'm Alison Grey Medium, I think. And that's on Instagram. And then my website is alisongray.com.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
So,
where can they purchase your book? The Mindful Medium. Collective Books, or on Amazon. So I think they're the two main ones. Okay, perfect. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed your book, The Mindful Medium. It was a great insight. I think that, like I said, I'm trying to meditate more. I think it would help me. I think it benefits a lot of people. I think it's got a lot of great benefits. So I do appreciate the things that you are doing for others. And and please go check out Alison's book. You can find it, Mindful Medium, on anywhere you like to purchase your books, and also Collective Ink. They're great also, so go check them out. And if you have any questions, then go check out Alison's website and her social media, which we will get posted on our social media as well, so you have better links to that. And thank you, Alison, for being on. It was a pleasure talking to you today.
Thank you very much. I've really thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Until next time, everybody.